Welcome to another episode of Double Take Dylan. As two bitter Red Sox fans that just watched Mookie win a World Series right after leaving, I feel like I don't need to ask you how you're feeling today.
Yeah, that's a good call. I haven't really felt great since even before the season started. In this show, we talk NFL Week 8 and try to fix a famous movie franchise.
First things first, Red Sox and Rays fans, look away.
After years of coming up just short, the Dodgers have finally captured their 7th franchise World Series title. Now, it comes with a little bit of an asterisk because it comes after a 60-game season, but nevertheless, they got it done. James, what do we think?
Well, I hope this is just the death of Moneyball pitching. Like, taking Snell out in the 6th inning after he gives up one
73 pitches, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, 1 hit. No, actually, no walks.
And it's just their pitching. Like obviously they're not doing Moneyball with their hitting because no one can get on base.
Yeah.
Billy Beane would have wanted guys to get on base, and Adames didn't sniff first base that entire series. So there's a lot of problems with this Rays team. But I just hope that this stupidity can just end. I'm honestly at a loss for words trying to talk about it.
Yeah, so it's talked about like immediate comeuppance when like they make a terrible coaching decision. Blake Snell is pissed coming off the mound. He walks off in a huff. Everyone in the stadium, everyone at home is thinking, why did they just do this? Immediately, they hit a double, they score the runs. The game ended right there.
I mean, like what do you say? Like, so you've caught some baseball. You know, you've been a catcher, and you see this guy's on fire. You know this guy, Blake Snell. You've been working him for years. He's working. He's dealing, and then you see your manager come out of the dugout after he gives up one single. What's going through your mind as a catcher?
I feel like everyone in the world had the same exact view of this, and they were all right. As soon as he came out there, you're thinking, all right, the Rays, like they get cute with this stuff. They work all these pitchers. They're like the shift. They're trying to change baseball, like with the way that they use the analytics. And then you come out there and you're thinking, okay, like there's analytics, but there's just knowing baseball. This guy on the mound is dominating. He wants the ball in his hand. Everyone wants the ball in his hand, and you're just getting too cute with it. And immediately, like you saw, that was the case.
Oh, immediate cause and effect action. Biggest stage. I don't think I've ever seen a game in this magnitude lost in that kind of way. But that aside, Dodgers did a lot of things right. They did. And I think the biggest thing for them was Mookie. Because let's be honest, the Dodgers choke, and every single year they find new ways to lose. And not like the Falcons, but in very much so, when it comes down to the World Series, they should have had it in a lot of opportunities coming up to this point. And Mookie's the guy who just puts them over the edge. I think obviously Seager had an amazing series, but Mookie's the guy who doesn't choke in that biggest moment, who does come up big.
Yeah, like so 2 years ago they're playing the Red Sox. They're like, we need the guy to get us over the hump. It's gonna be Manny Machado. Terrible, indefensible decision. Then they go and get Mookie this year, and that's the guy that can get you there. And you know, the Red Sox felt like maybe like this guy, like, you know, he has some up and down years. He's not going to be worth all this money over the next 12 years. They were wrong. This guy, Mookie Betts, single-handedly like won them several key playoff games. Game 7 of the NLCS, like Mookie like got the job done all through this series. 4 stolen bases, 2 home runs. Like, he's the guy that is getting you extra runs. Like, if Mookie's not in the game, he's not making those catches, he's not stealing those bases, he's not scoring on infield singles, I don't know if they're winning those games. Mookie was the guy in the Red Sox, and he is the guy where, like, you know, it's the scales are about 50-50, but Mookie Betts just comes in and makes the play and gets you over the edge.
No, him making Mookie moments for other teams honestly feels like getting cheated on. I feel like my heart was broken. Like, I'm like, this was supposed to be us, and now you're stealing Freddie Freeman's home runs for a different color, and it's just something about this just doesn't sit right. But honestly, I think going forward, I'm going to look for the Dodgers to repeat. I'm going to look for them to have some kind of dynasty. They got a great team. They got a great bullpen. Oh my gosh, their bullpen just such a good job this whole entire playoffs. And it's something that I look at as Red Sox fans, and I foam at the mouth just thinking, man, if we have something like that going for us, like, I'd be thinking that I was on the edge of a dynasty too.
I hope they use the financial flexibility that they've earned themselves in Boston. The Dodgers, every year up until this year, the last 3 years, they've lost to the team that has won the World Series, either in the World Series or in the NLCS. So good for them. They finally got it done. The Rays, on the other hand, the Rays are a team that every 10-15 years they come up with enough draft picks from being
scrap
bad
something together.
They can scrap together a team with the money ball and everything, and we're gonna see all the best players on their team get picked up by the Yankees and whoever else that has a big payroll. So you gotta feel bad for the Rays. They get this shot every once in a while. Small market teams every once in a while can just have a magical run. And I think the world would have liked to see the Rays beat the big guy. But the Dodgers, it got old watching them lose every year. So be it.
It didn't get old. I disagree. I think it was great every single time. And honestly, here's the thing. If the Rays win, then they're justified. And everyone's thinking, take your starting pitcher on the 6th inning no matter what. Because it doesn't matter. The math shows that they're going to give up something. It's not going to be worth it. I don't want that to win. I don't think that's good for baseball. I want stuff like that to be booted out. The Rays are the reason we have the 3-batter rule.
Yep.
And the more that they lose, hey, maybe it's good for the game. And, maybe the Dodgers win with Mookie. Maybe that's a great thing. Maybe I'm in denial. But I honestly think that it pushes the game forward by not going forward.
I do think the Blake Snell moment is Blake Snell and Mookie Betts in that moment is a very symbolic moment for baseball where
100%.
The Dodgers, the guy that they just paid $400 million is coming to the plate. The Rays, this guy, this young talent they brought up, they choose to play their Moneyball system of analytics baseball going into the future of every move is a calculated move versus the Dodgers, just big payroll. We're going to pay this guy a bunch of money to come in. The Rays method, change the pitcher. The Dodgers method, pay Mookie Betts. The Dodgers won. Mookie Betts proved that, you need money and talent to win baseball games, not analytics.
They won as much as we lost. But all I know is the Red Sox, they're going to be back next season. Mark my words, they're going to be back. But until then, we have some NFL to watch. Now, the NFL is in full swing now. A lot has changed in 8 weeks. We're going to make some picks, but under kind of a unique format. So, that being said, it's time for a list.
So I'm going to be very transparent here. We film this show on Fridays. It's before the games. It's before the Sunday NFL action. And so trying to predict what's going to happen in these games would not work out just because, the show comes out after the games are played. This week, we're going to lean into it. We're going to make predictions for these games. We don't care. And you're going to find out with the magic of post-production in real time how our predictions are doing. It's going to get rough, but I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm going to let you start just because I know this first game is very near and dear to your heart. It's 2 a time. It's finally come. Dylan, Dolphins, Rams, how are we feeling?
This is going to be a massacre. It is 2 a time in Miami. It's been 2 decades of poor football play. Tua is going to come in. I'm guessing 400 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Tua has a perfect passer rating. Dolphins win in a blowout. All right, so coming back at you, we go to the Bills and Patriots. What do you think?
I'm going to keep it short and simple here. Bill Belichick, 4 straight. 4 straight L's, by the way. I'm taking Bills. All right, Colts, Lions. This could be a close one.
I think that Matt Stafford's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. That guy is tough. That guy's a winner. I think the Colts are pretenders. I think Matt Stafford's going to tear up that defense and get them to a gritty win.
Nice.
All right, coming back at you with your favorite team here. The Steelers are playing the Ravens this week.
It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a rivalry game. It's going to be physical. It's going to be hard. Steelers going to grind this one out 30-24. That's my opinion. Vikings, Packers. Another rivalry game. Along the line, Vikings not so great, but do they pick one up here?
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's a bad man. I'm thinking that Aaron Rodgers he had a poor week the other week. Aaron Rodgers is gonna tear it up, ton of passing yards, light up that defense, get the Packers to a win.
Nice, I got it. Discount double check.
Absolutely. All right, coming back at you with the 49ers and the Seahawks.
Now, this is going to be a good game, but I think Russell Wilson has it. I think Russell Wilson's kind of embarrassed of how he lost to the mini version of himself, Kyler Murray. It's happening. He's the revenge tour Russell. He's back. All right, Jets, Chiefs. I don't want Jets, Chiefs. This can go either way. It's a pick'em game, so.
So the Jets played really well against the Bills last week. No, the Chiefs are going to win. I'm going to say 48-3.
48-3.
48-3. If it's anything closer than that, I don't know. I'll eat myself.
Is that the spread? They'll cover the 30-point spread.
Coming back at you now, Saints Bears. What do you think?
This is gonna be a tough one, but it all comes back to a guy with 3 legs, Big Dick Nick.
Wow.
I'm taking the Bears.
Wow.
All right, Chargers, Broncos, Justin Herbert. He's looking really good.
That's the thing. I think that Justin Herbert and the Chargers have been losing these games against good teams. I think Justin Herbert is a good quarterback, and I think that he's going to take apart a pretty good Broncos defense. Justin Herbert, I'm putting my money on you.
Yeah, no, I think he's better than Kane.
All right, Cowboys, Eagles, the big toilet bowl this week.
It is the big toilet bowl. I'm taking the Cowboys. All that shit talk, all about them not carrying the ball and got knocked out of the game. McCarthy's going to get fired. Nope. Cowboys statement game. Carson Wentz on the trading block.
Hell yeah.
All right, so again, we'll see how those picks do, and you can just put a big old clown face over my face right here. if we go over 10.
Yeah, the Jets somehow upset the Chiefs. We're never doing this again. I'm never doing that to myself again.
No, sir. I just hope that we don't make ourselves look too stupid because we're kind of running low on credibility as it is. Speaking of things that look stupid, new Mandalorian season has us thinking about how dumb the sequel trilogies turned out to be. As two very bitter fans, we figured that now is a good time to try to fix them.
This segment is going to be very straightforward. This is how we think Star Wars 7 through 9, how we wish it had gone. Start with 7. 7, I had a great time watching. I had a great time in the theater. I was super excited for the rest of these movies after watching 7.
I think it set everything up, and I was pretty, like you said, like who's Rey, all these things, like...
It gives you, like, it's like, they blow up the Death Star again, like it's a Star Wars movie, it's very familiar, and they do a lot of things well, a lot of cool scenes.
100%.
But the coolest parts about it were the things they set up. They set up who are Rey's parents, Kylo and Ren and Rey, what's their relationship going to be? Yeah. Set intrigue about Snoke, who is Snoke? Luke, where is Luke gone? And then, Finn and Poe are these new heroes, like what's going to come of them? So a lot of cool stuff happens in the movie, and all these cool unanswered questions, open-ended questions, are set up for the rest of this franchise.
No, it's great. And then also it's just like, Daisy Ridley becomes the new Emma Watson.
Yeah.
Move over. It's the new era. The iOS updates here.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie.
Heartthrob.
But now when I watch it, like I honestly like have a bitter taste in my mouth, knowing like this is what happens to all of these storylines. So let's pick it up with 8, with The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So we have all those questions set up, and there was a lot of debate online before this movie came out. Like this is what's gonna happen with Rey's parents, all these theories, and I think that they saw that and they chose to divert everyone's expectations to say, like, to pull the rug out. Like, you think this is going to happen, it's not going to happen.
You thought it was going to be a good movie.
No. So, yeah, they switched directors from J.J. Abrams to Rian Johnson. I didn't know this at the time, no one did, but they didn't have a plan for the trilogy before it started. They were going movie by movie, coming up with stuff. Which we
found out pretty quickly going into it.
Why, like, after years, like, it took them, 12 more years to make another Star Wars movie after the prequel trilogy. Yeah. Why would you not have, like, a full plan for everything that happens in all 3 movies? Like, there's no rush.
Yeah. I just think that the general theme of these is that they didn't have a consistent visionary. Like, you can say what you want about George Lucas, you can, but he had a vision that was very direct as what he wanted, and that's what they carried for a lot of the first 6 movies.
Yeah, and so they bring Rian Johnson in to direct this. Before he's even done directing it, he's already been signed on to direct a new sequel trilogy. So they were super high on this movie. They thought it was going to be everyone's new favorite. Yeah. And episode 8, nothing is accomplished, nothing happens. It's a low-speed chase through space, which is not exciting at all. The rebel ship is here. The villains are like 100 feet behind them. They can't catch them for some reason, even though they're out of gas. Their lasers are arcing through space like they're gravity, and they can't get through the shields because they're too far. It doesn't make any sense, and that's the whole movie, is this low speed chase while there's other stuff going on.
The casino scene's so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, me and my friends in Mohican Sun could have created a more fun 45 minutes of casino than that was. Nothing contributed to the ending of that movie that happens like an hour prior. No. It was just Poe being like, we gotta take the fight to him, and all edgy, and it really, that decision for him not to do that, like, it all comes down to like the rebels at the end, either way, being trapped in that ice cave. So then, you wanna know if you want to take him there, but totally botched as well.
Everything the main characters do in the movie does not affect how it ends. Like, the ending scene where they end up on that planet will always happen, because everyone on their separate missions fails, which maybe is the point. But they're no matter, like, you're watching this whole movie with these characters you love, nothing they do, like, diverts or impacts, like, where they end up for the last scene of the movie. And so, they set up, like, what's Snoke? Snoke, doesn't matter, he's dead. What's Finn gonna be doing? Finn in this movie tries to be a hero, and he gets very much...
he gets messed up.
Yeah, like, this is the last scene in the movie where he that had a chance for redemption.
Yeah. We can agree that if Finn died in that moment, all sins would have been forgiven. It would have made well for the whole entire thing, because they actually ended with a really great twist that people didn't expect, that tugs on the heartstrings, that makes you invest in the next movie. Instead, he gets saved in the worst way possible, and it couldn't have felt like a bigger cop-out.
Yeah, so he's flying toward the battering ram laser that's going to save the rebels, because if they get in, the rebels are doomed. So he's going to save the day. He's the only hope for them. And he gets clipped by the new character
that nobody likes.
Yeah,
that nobody likes.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just Finn's big hero moment. It would have been such a brave move to have him die there, and it gets.
It's the biggest tease.
It gets
It's
ruined.
the biggest tease.
So then we go into Star Wars 9. All of the questions that have been set up have no answers, and there's nothing leading into 9. You don't come out of 8 like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen with this and that, because 8 ends with like, now there's a spark for hope for the rebellion because they escaped like being wiped out. So you're like really like have a blank slate for the last one, which like, all right, so let's just get into the last movie. We start off with Palpatine coming back.
Which is just introed in the beginning.
It's in the crawl. Palpatine's back. And that's the worst decision by far, I think, in this movie. Because, you know, you have Snoke, the big bad guy, gets killed off. Well, now who's the big bad guy? The original script of this movie, Colin Trevorrow's script, which has been leaked online, Kylo Ren is the big bad guy. That's like the whole point, is that Kylo Ren kills Snoke and now it's his job. He wants to wipe out the Sith and the Jedi and just have like all of that stuff we know be done away with. And so let's go through the script. It was going to start off with Kylo Ren goes to Mustafar. He's trying to find Palpatine's teacher. He's trying to figure out how he can destroy the Sith and the Jedi. And Luke and Darth Vader's Force Ghosts both come and intervene with him. He actually has a fight with Darth Vader of like, you need to stop doing what you're doing. Darth Vader,
which would have been dope.
Darth Vader comes back. He has a
does.
Force Ghost fight. Like, it would have been cool. Meanwhile, you have Rey and Poe are trying to steal. Like, they're trying to go steal the Star Destroyer. They were supposed to have some kind of romance. I don't know how well that would have worked out. But they're on a mission together. You have the main characters like going and doing something cool.
Development.
Finn is on a mission to Coruscant, right?
Yeah.
Coruscant. To steal like Imperial weapons, and he's trying to ignite a beam of a message to the galaxy, like we're fighting a war, like you need to come help us. And along the way he gets kidnapped, they get kidnapped, and he finds a bunch of stormtroopers that are trying to defect. And this is like the key to Finn's storyline for this trilogy, is like coming together in this, where Finn is going to lead these stormtroopers to defect, and he's going to lead a rebel battle on Coruscant, like at the end of the movie, the big fight. He was going to lead that battle and like lead everyone that's going to defect from the dark side, and combining that with sending the beacon to get everyone to come as backup. Finn was going to be the guy that saves the galaxy, and like him like rejecting his stormtrooper life was going to be a big symbol. And he said, since the movie has come out, like, you can't put a black actor in a franchise and make him out to be the most important character and then just do nothing with him.
He's a very insignificant character in like this movie.
Him and Poe in the last movie actually like they play no role in like how things turn.
They're only main characters because you know more about them.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that's separating them. They're not doing anything any more significant than anyone else could have done.
The mission they go on at the end, like when they're going, like they're on the planet at the end and they're trying to kill the fleet of Star Destroyers, like they're only successful because backup comes. Like what they're doing to try and like go on that mission, like it's a complete waste.
It's Deus Ex
unless
Machina.
the backup
It's Deus Ex Machina for sure. But I think that's like, listen, all these movies, like every movie that's come out since 6 has been disappointing in some kind of way. Even 3 and 7, you look back at it and you like them, but just because something's less bad doesn't make it great. And those movies weren't disappointing, but that's it. And that is why that, like, if you talk to people that are like 40 years old who like grew up with 4, 5, and 6, they haven't liked a movie since. They haven't. It's been like it's fine, it's whatever, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them for that. It's not the lack of originality, it's not. It's the execution and it's the constant, like, one person having a vision and it coming to fruition. It's a mess.
That leads well into how this movie was supposed to end, because this movie was supposed to end with that fight that Rey and Kylo Ren have on the Death Star, where it ends in the ocean. When that's supposed to be the ending of the movie, where it's a final battle with Rey and Kylo Ren. There's a ton of cool aspects to this I won't get into. Like Rey gets blinded at one point and uses her blind training. Like there's so many cool things that happen. But it ends with Kylo Ren is about to strike her down and like win the war. And Leia's last message, which happens in the movie, Leia calls out to him and he spares her and he ends up dying. And that was supposed to be the message, that like you're never too far gone. You can always come back to the light side. And that,
by Rey killing you.
Yeah. Well, we got that moment in the movie where Leia calls out to him and he changes sides, but it takes place halfway through. That would have been the end of the movie. That would have been better than what we got, but it's an exact copy of Darth Vader's arc, where Darth Vader at the end of the 6th movie chooses like I'm gonna go back to the light side. Like I've had a change of heart. I'm gonna save my son and kill the Emperor. And that is like going back to what you said, where like you saw this franchise in the 80s and you loved it and you haven't liked anything since, because it was a great story, and even this story would have just been like feeding off that and like trying to redo it, just like the 7th movie was just a redo of A New Hope. So the best case scenario for this franchise, with what they gave us, was that you kind of end up with just like a knockoff of the original trilogy.
I don't think you had to do much of a rehashing. I think that they can bring up new ideas and have them be pretty great. I think that 3 proved a lot of things. And like in 3, they introduced a lot of new kind of elements to Star Wars. Realism in main characters, like the destruction of good in somebody. Like, those things were pretty great, and I think you could have carried that same energy going forward. But yeah, 7 was going to be a reboot. You knew that 7 was going to be a rehashing. It had to be, and they did a good job at that. So that's why I say it's not like the originality that brought these movies down. But there's a couple of things that, like, of course there's a lot of bad decisions, but there's a couple of big turns that they just go the different way. I just think it means so much. I think that obviously Finn dying, and maybe even Rey dying, maybe Rey killing Palpatine, and then just being dead, and then Kylo Ren is the last Jedi. It makes more sense for him to be the last Skywalker because he's literally the bloodline. Whereas like Rey is just is a Palpatine bastard child.
Rey never loses a fight in this movie, in this franchise. Like, she beats Kylo Ren in the first movie and then just goes on an undefeated streak. And it would have made more sense if Kylo Ren at the end of that movie is like the one that's alive. Rey gives his life to save. It's her life to save him, and then Kylo Ren has to make up for Luke's mistakes and go and like start a new training school for Jedi or whatever.
Yeah.
But again, Luke shouldn't have had mistakes. They shouldn't have messed with the original. So they're making a new trilogy with Rian Johnson directing, which I'm nervous
about. It's gonna be terrible,
because it's Rian Johnson, and we just saw what he did with the Star Wars movie. But this new trilogy should have never been part of the Skywalker story. Because
I should have let it die.
They didn't even plan for it like before it happened. They just were like, we're gonna make more Skywalker movies, and they didn't have a plan for it, and it ended up poorly. You can make more Star Wars. The Mandalorian. You can make Star Wars stuff. That's awesome. It takes place in that universe. It's badass. It doesn't have to connect to Darth Vader. Not everything has to connect to this movie that you made 40 years ago. You can make new things.
Yeah, no, and the whole entire Rey payoff just isn't what it... Like, Rey is like Patrick Mahomes. Luke is like Tom Brady. Luke started in like nothing. He also lost a lot of he was the guy who came in the combine with the dad bod. He's like, what the hell are we gonna do with this? But then after those L's, after getting his hand chopped off, after all these things, he comes in the end and he's bigger, he's stronger. He's the man. Rey kind of comes in and just starts throwing the football down the field, no look passes, defeating Kylo Ren in her first really big fight with him, and you're just like. Then she wins the Super Bowl, and you're just kind of like, oh, that's cool. But it's not like Tom Brady's story. Like, it's not. I'm not even a Pats fan. But the whole entire story there's not like a lot of payoff. The only L's that Rey took in the beginning when she couldn't sell that port for 7 portions or whatever. That's the last L she took.
Yeah, the story of Star Wars is the rise and then fall and then finally the redemption of Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, and his son saving him.
Peaks and valleys.
So when you drag it out for 3 more movies and you just give Kylo Ren the exact same arc one more time, it's a cash grab. It's not necessary. The way to fix these movies would be to plan them out way better, or to not have them connect to the original 6. Or at least have the through points of the first movie connect through the whole series so that at least you get some kind of satisfying ending. There's a lot of things that happen in the last movie where it's like, we have new force powers, we
just healed,
Palpatine is now like the most powerful thing ever. Like, I just don't think that, you don't have to explain it because it's just the force, you don't understand it. But how about something that makes sense? How about something that actually makes sense that I can follow and understand? That would have been a better movie.
Honestly, at the end of the day, I really don't expect anything with Star Wars movies going on forward. If something is as good as 4, 5, and 6, I'll take that victory and bring it right to the bank. But I'm not really going to count on it.
Yeah, not expecting it. Thanks for the Mandalorian, but that's all we got. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Double Take. We recently eclipsed 50 subscribers and we are amped about it. Thank you so much for watching, and please keep spreading the word.
Like, subscribe, and comment down below what you want us to talk about next. Take care. And in the immortal words of the Griffin family,
goodbye.